This is a sports catastrophe production.
Hey there, Heather Ho there. It's Jeff Cutter Diamond welcoming you to another sports catastrophe on this day. And on this day, June 2nd, 1935, a very powerful career in baseball has ended. Babe Ruth decides to retire. And I guess at the right time, if you will. Because obviously, Babe Ruth was not who he used to be. So anyway, I did a video on Babe Ruth and all that for his birthday. And, despite the fact he's dead, and I try my best not to have, like, dead people be a birthday boy or girl because, I gotta explain the ages. But basically, I did one on Babe Ruth on his birthday in February. So, Babe Ruth had a startling career and all that with the Red Sox. Sadly, though, he was bigger than himself. His ego grew too much for the Red Sox to handle, so they sold him to the Yankees for $125,000, which is still decent amount of money in 2021, depending on what you think happens. I would love to have $100,000 in my savings account, but that's not going to happen. Anyway, the truth of the matter is that Babe Ruth was an icon. The weird thing was he was a decent pitcher, but he decided he didn't want to pitch anymore. So that was why he wanted to leave the Red Sox and stuff. So the New York Yankees gave him a few games to be a pitcher, but with the Yankees, he basically was a superstar, despite the fact that Babe Ruth started to gain a lot of weight and all that. And no, the pinstripes on the Yankee uniforms were not made to make Babe Ruth look slimmer. Basically, that's that's an urban myth. But regardless, Babe Ruth still had power. He still had jive. He still had everything going for him. He was a good hitter. I mean, batting average wasn't always the best thing for him, but he was basically a home run hitter and an RBI man. Ruth was some very powerful Yankees teams in the 1920s, especially Verner's role in 1927, alongside Lou Gehrig, Tony Lasseri, was it Joe Sewell? No, that can't be right. I don't know who else was on that 2017 off the top of my head. You know what I'm talking about. Marquini. Anyway, the 1927 Yankees were powerful and basically ran roughshod over the American League and the Pittsburgh Pirates in the World Series, 4 straight. Babe Ruth basically was starting to get near the end of his rope in the 1930s. Basically, he wasn't as healthy as he should be. It was a habit. He could still hit home runs, but basically running around the bases was bad for him. He had a few forces and a few weddings, and he wasn't really getting himself into shape as much as he should have. So anyway, in 1935, Babe Ruth had a chance to be the manager of the Yankees minor league affiliate in Newark, New Jersey. So basically, you're thinking, okay, well, he'll take the job managing, and maybe he'll be Yankees manager and all that. But no, he didn't want to take it. Basically, his wife and business partner basically said that Ruth should be managing in the major leagues and all that. The Yankees said they couldn't do that, and they didn't want to in the system. So basically, they got rid of him, and the Boston Braves, or as they were called at the time, the Boston Bees, actually decided to take a chance on him, despite the fact that, Babe Ruth was a little bit past his prime, if you ask me. So anyway, the fact of the matter is that Babe Ruth decided to play for Boston. Now, Boston didn't do it because, Babe Ruth was a good player. It was more publicity because the Boston Braves basically had a lot of owners that basically were done on the cheap, if you will. Many teams were like that in the Great Depression, but, still. So the Babe decided to forego a lot of things and basically play for the Boston Braves. It was basically a publicity stunt, and then he would be basically assistant manager and maybe into the front office of Boston where he belonged. But Babe Ruth was not much of a hitter. He was so bad that basically there were rumors that when he hit home runs, basically someone else would have to run the bases for him. All that. His home run trot was slow because he was out of shape. Babe Ruth made a jerk of himself, if you will. He wasn't batting that well. It was just basically a farewell tour and all that. But he still wanted to play. However, he would have his moment May 25th, 1935, when he hit 3 home runs at Forbes Field against Pittsburgh. Basically, those were the final home runs of his career. Basically, he was done for. Ruth wanted to leave the Boston Braves and go to Europe for some kind of christening of a ship and all that. The Boston Braves were like, we gotta get rid of this guy. I mean, he's done nothing. He doesn't want to do the publicity stuff. What are we gonna do? Might as well get rid of him. So they do. So they did. And basically, Babe Ruth was an afterthought. So basically, his career ended this day in 1935, and he stayed retired. Although he would try to be helpful, coach on the Brooklyn Dodgers in 1938. That was nothing. And the Boston Braves kept going downhill in the standings and in attendance till the 1940s. Such is life. And Babe Ruth sadly would pass away in 1948 from cancer. So it's a short video, but basically Babe Ruth deserves a lot more mention than he should. Anyway, I'm Jeff Diamond. I do.